Hey, what's going on, folks? Larry at Packmaster Dog Training here. I want to talk about corrections and punishment in dog training, okay? And I'm going to use the dog I have here right now, the female Rottweiler, Hika, to give you a very specific example of how sometimes punishment is used in dog training. And the reason I wanted to make this is I'm working with several of you now, trainer friends of mine throughout the country that are struggling with different cases, but all similar situations where there's a really bad behavior that you guys are having a hard time fixing, and getting through to the dog. So I'm going to give you an example of exactly what I did with this dog here, and maybe it'll help some of you. All right. Now, you guys know I've been really outspoken against a lot of trainers out there that use techniques that I'm not really big fans of, okay? And the reason being, listen, guys, corrections and punishment are 100% necessary in dog training, period. Don't let anyone ever tell you differently. I'm a pretty light-handed trainer. Most people know that, and I don't have to use a lot of punishment and corrections in dog training, but there has to be. There is no such thing as turning dogs around in dog training without some type of punishment. It's non-existent. I watched a video the other day, and I normally won't look at his videos, but it popped up on my feed, so I watched it, and it was a Zach George video, and it had something to do with excessive barking at the door or some of this stuff. And I watched the video with an open mind. I really did. And I literally commented on the video, which I don't do very often, but it was so awful and so misleading to people that it really hit me on the side of the head. Like, because of information that this guy puts out, he's probably the most popular dog trainer on the planet, at least through YouTube. He's really harming a lot of dogs by putting out these fraudulent claims that, these dogs can all be helped without some type of consequences. There has to be consequences for doing good. That's mostly what we do, right? But there has to be consequences for doing bad also. There just has to be. That's a fact of life. Unfortunately, a lot of times we see there's a lot of trainers out there that it's just all corrections. We call those guys, correction cowboys, and they don't have the skill and ability to do it properly and, bring out the best of the dog. Let's just put it that way, all right? But let's get right into Hika, the female Rottweiler, and hopefully this will ring a bell and help someone. All right, so I made a few videos with her. I talked about some of her issues. I won't go through all that again, but we'll try to do it really quickly. So one of her issues was she's had some really, really bad experiences with the underground fence, okay? That actually did make the e-collar training very difficult. Her response was absolutely awful. Not because her owners use an underground fence, but because she's gone through it several times. So she has had very bad experiences with it. So for her to come around and accept the e-collar in the way I like all the dogs I work with too, it was very difficult. Now, someone commented the other day on one of the videos and said, then why use the e-collar? Why not just not use it at all? Very simple. It is my job to bring out the absolute best in every dog I work with. And the fact that just having the e-collar on puts her in such a bad place, it's my responsibility to fix that. I can't accept that. I can't let her fail. I can't let her fail mentally. I can't let her imagine that bad things are going to happen when they're not. That's dog training. That's my job, is to fix all that. So I'm not going to just avoid something because she has a hard time with it. I'm going to make her accept it and make her see that it's never going to be a bad thing, plain and simple. And so you guys can watch the other videos. I explain exactly what I did with that to turn that around. Okay, one of the more serious issues she has is Hika has good ball drive. She has really good ball drive. Not Luca kind of ball drive, but she has very good ball drive. So the first thing I had to do was, with the e-collar training, of course, all that drive goes away. I had to bring that back, okay, which I did. She's doing great there. But one of her more serious issues, guys, is the ball drive is accelerated and much higher when there's other dogs involved or children. Okay, so in other words, if I take out a ball to play with Hika and train, she's got great ball drive. We have a good time, and now I'm using that as part of the training. But if there's kids playing ball, or if there's another dog chasing a ball, she becomes very predatory. Okay, so she becomes extremely adrenalized. The drive becomes much higher, and she's no longer Hika. She's just a predatory animal, and that can be very dangerous. So she has the ability to go after and nip kids and their other dog. They have another dog, and so what she does was she bites the dog. She'll bite his legs, chase him. She becomes very rough because she's no longer that same dog that you know. No longer Hika, now she's just a predatory animal. That's a very serious behavior, and it's a very dangerous behavior, okay? So I have to fix that. So I've spoke about it many times before. When a dog comes in here with a serious issue, I don't address the issue up front. Never, okay? I'm not going to put that dog in that situation and try to punish or correct the behavior because it will not produce the results that I want, period. Plain and simple. Okay, so in other words, guys, if I started right from the start, if I got my kids to play ball around her and then I punished that unwanted behavior very harshly, let's say if it even worked, if it stopped her becoming so adrenalized like that, what I'm going to do at the same time is I'm going to crush the drive and crush the personality. And I never want to do that. It's my job to bring out the best in the dog. That means stopping the unwanted behaviors while not crushing the drive and bringing out the best in her personality. That's dog training. So when you see these videos where, they show the dogs, let's say the same type of situation where the dog's just confined to a place board and looks like a friggin' zombie and no longer wants to, produce those behaviors, that's not dog training. Not in my world. Okay, very, very important to me that I bring out the best in her, plain and simple. So I don't address those behaviors up front. So what I did was I spent a little over a week building the trust, building the relationship, and training, going about training like I normally do. Did a lot of the e-collar work. She's completely fine with it now. A lot of training without the e-collar, probably 98% of the training we did is all toy-based and food-based and positive reinforcement, and all the basics, the down, the sit, the come, the leave it, the out, the place, all those things, a little over a week. So now that trust and that bond is very strong, and her obedience is very, very good. I'm very happy with it, all right? So my kids are playing soccer out in the driveway. It's a little over a week now that she's been here. She trusts me. She trusts me. We are completely in love. That's my girl, okay? I'm her man. She's my girl. She trusts me. My kids are playing soccer in the driveway, and I tell Sophia, I say, okay, Sophia, I'm going to bring Hika out here, and I'm going to do a little training. I need you guys to keep playing. She said, okay. So I went and got Hika. She's on a, I just have a slip collar. It's a leather slip collar, I always want to have something on the dog that they can't slip out of. That's the only reason that's on there. There's no specific purpose for it. I just don't want her to slip out of a regular collar, flat buckle collar. So I come out with Hika. She's got her e-collar on. Now, Hika is very, very sensitive to the e-collar, okay? Works on extremely low levels, a 5 and a 6, all right? Very, very low levels, even though she's a big, strong Rottweiler. Very low levels, mini educator, a 5 and a 6. That's where she's always at. I don't go any higher on her. I don't have to. So when I come out here to address the behaviors, I know she's going to have a problem, and she's going to show me those behaviors that the owners want fixed. And with a lot of dogs, the level of the e-collar to address that would be higher than Hika's. So with Hika, I went up to a 20 on the mini educator, which is still very low, guys. I can't feel that. If you put that on me, I can't feel a level 20 on a mini educator e-collar. But for Hika, she will feel that. Now, with that being said, when we come out here and put her in that situation, there's no way she's going to feel a 5, a 6, a 7, a 10, or a 12 in that situation when she becomes that predatory creature. She's no longer Hika. When she gets that adrenalized, plain and simple. So I was in somewhere in the 20s, 20 to 24. I don't know. I don't remember. The number is not that important. But I was still on a very low level. But I thought that it would be able to address her. So I come outside with Hika. The kids are playing soccer. And I'm ready because I want the timing to be very good at the correction, okay? And so when I came out with her, the kids are playing, and no, I'm sorry, they weren't playing. I had them standing here. I wanted them to wait. So when I came out with her, she saw them with the ball, and she did perk up a little bit. And I got myself ready. I had her sitting next to me. Okay, I asked her to sit, and I was ready. And I told the kids, okay, kids, start playing. And they started playing, and she showed me exactly what the owners were talking about. She became really adrenalized and really went after the ball, and she was a completely different dog than I've seen. Okay, as soon as she started doing that, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember if I gave any kind of verbal command or something. I honestly don't remember. It's not that important. I corrected it with the e-collar, set somewhere, I don't know, like I said, from a 20 to a 24. And she did have a reaction to it, you know. And what she tried to do was go away. Back to the first things that she did when she felt the e-collar at all, even on super low levels. Her first thought was to, you know, retreat and go away, get back in the house. At that time, I used the leash not to allow her to. She can't take off. She's going to stay with me. Okay. When I tap that e-collar, you know, I always have the e-collar on continuous. I'm not holding it down. I'm not doing this bullshit holding it down for a long time. It's a very quick and direct correction. Just a tap. Boom. Tap. And she had a bad reaction, tried to retreat, and I don't let her. No, you're going to stay with me, okay? And then she shook that off, and she got focused, and she attempted to do it again. I did the same thing, all right? Same thing. This time, her intensity was a little lower. We went through the same process, and then the kids stopped, and I had them come over. Now we made it a little tougher on her. Now I made them start bouncing the ball in front of her, which at first she tried to avoid, and then it kicked in, and she went after the ball. I corrected her one more time, same level. She had much less of a reaction. It wasn't a big dramatic thing now, okay? And then I took the ball and started bouncing and playing with it around her, and she was okay. She just sat there. She had no negative effect, guys. She wasn't down in the dumps, you know, she wasn't trying to run away anymore. Now, that ball drive was there. She was interested, which is good. That's what I want. But she wasn't becoming insane. At that moment, I rewarded her and we stopped. And I went in the yard and we just played a little bit and she was fine. Went right back to playing, and then I put her away and I let her rest. So the rest of the day, we went about our normal routine, okay? I didn't address that anymore. We went about our normal training and everything was normal. The next day, it might have even been 2 days later, I'm not sure, but I think it was the next day. The kids were playing soccer in the driveway again, so I said, okay, I need to do this again. Let's see how she reacts this time. I told the kids, and this time I told them, just be playing when I come out there. You don't have to wait. And I come outside expecting the same reaction, and when we went outside, I walked up real close to where they were playing, and she just sat at my side, and she was like a normal dog. You know, at one point she looked up at me, I marked it and I rewarded, and I was like, oh man, this is fantastic. I was really happy with that. Very happy. And I was surprised, to be honest with you. So we just sat there and watched them play for a while. And when she was just fine, I just ended it and we went back in the yard in the fenced area and I threw a ball and we played. Very, very good reaction. So then about an hour later, this is what surprised me. This was very, very good. I was very happy about this. So about an hour later, what I did was, I told Renzo, Sophia was gone. I said, Renzo, I need you to go outside, have your soccer ball, and just wait to do what I tell you to do. He said, okay. So I took Hika in the yard. Now she's off leash. She's no longer under my control with the leash, but she's in the fenced-in area with me, and Renzo is in the driveway on the outside of the fence, okay? So to completely protect him and to get a true reaction from her, I wanted to see what would happen. And so I'm in the yard, and we're just doing our thing. We're playing. I have her e-collar on. It's on her normal levels, okay? Back to normal levels, 5 or 6, whatever it was on. And we're in the yard, and she sees Renzo. And I said, Renzo, I want you to come over by the fence when I tell you to. And I said, I want you to start jumping up and down, acting real silly and bouncing your ball. I said, I want you to get Hika worked up. He said, okay. And so I was in the middle of my fenced-in area, and when Hika saw him coming over, she walked over to the fence by him. I said, okay, Renzo, do it now. And what happened was he started jumping around and bouncing and dribbling his ball, and this is what blew me away, guys. What I was going to do, my plan was to call Hika to me away from the ball. Okay? So what I would say at that point is I would say, Hika, come. And if she didn't respond immediately, that's where I would tap the e-collar immediately after the verbal command, if she didn't respond immediately. Okay, I was going to give her that opportunity. But what happened is what really blew me away, guys, is the second Renzo started acting crazy and bouncing the ball on her own before I can call her, she turned around, ran to me, and laid down right at my side and looked very good. Like, was very upbeat, ears up, and looked up at me. And man, I rewarded that big time. And I was blown away by that. I was really surprised. And I sent all that information to the owners too. I tell everyone, and even with the corrections and stuff, I always tell the owners everything I do. If we have a bad day, they know it. I let them know. And we have a good day, they know it. I let them know. I keep them informed about everything, including if the dog has a really bad reaction to anything like she did. I let them know that. And I was really surprised. But here's why, guys. Here's why that happened. And I've said it a million times before. If I would have addressed that bad behavior up front, there's no way I get that reaction from her. No way in hell. That I can guarantee you 100%. But because I spent a little over a week training her to the highest level I can in that period of time, and building that trust and building that bond, and then all those little things that people ignore, while we're interacting with her, while she's staying with us, while she's living with us, all the little things, okay? Example, in the beginning, if my dogs ran past her pen, she went crazy, That's nothing to her now. She has no reaction. I never corrected that. I never did anything. It's all the little things that added up to that moment where I had to punish that unwanted behavior is what created that. That's why I don't address these behaviors up front. I address them once that relationship is there. Because at that time, when a correction comes from me, guys, it has a lot more meaning to the dog. Okay? There's no confusion. There's no chaos. They get it. They understand it. And that's why it's so important to have that relationship, to have that trust. You don't get that. Okay, and so I'll show you more videos before she leaves, and you won't see a dog confined to a place board looking like a zombie. You won't see that. As a matter of fact, what I plan on doing is have Renzo or Sophia or both in the yard with the ball. I want to see her reaction with her off leash, but in a free dog state. She's free to do what she wants, because having her confined to a down or a place board in that situation isn't productive. It's not. I want a real life situation. So I want her to be able to be herself while the kids are playing ball like that, if that makes sense. Okay? If she's able to do that, then having her in a down or in a place is a lot more effective when need be. A lot more effective. And it allows them to be in their true natural state of mind. Okay? Very, very important. And that's my goal there. And I'll attempt to get some video of that, hopefully. But let me touch on one more subject here, guys. In reference to the e-collar, the remote collar, whatever you guys want to call it. Anyone who tells you that I could have fixed that situation without any tools is lying to you or not being 100% truthful. Here's the thing. Could I have addressed and fixed that problem with the ball and the predatory state of mind without any tools? I don't. Maybe, but it would take me a while. Probably not maybe, probably yes. But that dog's going to have to stay with me for a long time, a very long time. But when she goes back to her owners, would they be able to continue it? Hell no. Hell no. Not a chance in hell they would be able to continue that and have that kind of success. The only tool there is on planet Earth is the e-collar. Not only is that the only tool and the best tool for that situation, it is also the most gentle and most humane tool to use in that situation. Let me repeat that. The e-collar is the most gentle and most humane tool to use in that situation. Any other type of collar or tool that you would use in that situation either would not be effective, or it would create a lot of physical conflict coming directly from you. Any other type of collar, anything attached to the leash, would either be completely ineffective, or there'd be a lot of physical conflict. Okay? If there was something better, I would use it. Believe me, I would do it. I would do it. So, with all the things going on all over the world about e-collars, right now, with this specific dog, and she's not a difficult dog, okay? So even though she's not a difficult dog, she is a Rottweiler. That makes everything a little more complicated. Pit bulls and Rottweilers get put down long before any other breed if they show any type of aggression. Anything, okay? If it wasn't for that tool, one of two things happens. Either that dog has to be confined anytime kids are out playing or you want to play with the other dogs. It has to be confined. And if it's not, something bad will eventually happen and the dog loses its life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's going to happen. Okay? My ability to train dogs combined with that tool makes dogs like that very easy to save, guys. And without the proper use of that tool, a lot more dogs will die. That's just a fact. Okay? I can't do anything about the people that misuse the tool. There's people that misuse a lot of tools. There's people that don't have the ability to do a lot of things in dog training. Okay? It's our job to educate people and get more and more people using the tool properly if we're going to save the tool and save more dogs. It is that simple. So, that's something very specific, the way punishment was used on a specific dog. So hopefully, several of you, all the folks, all the trainers out there across the country that I'm talking to over the phone right now that are struggling with similar behaviors, hopefully that gives you an idea. Okay, I spent over a week of training the dog to the best of my ability, building the bond and the trust and the relationship before I ever addressed it. That dog loves me. That dog is crazy about me. That dog trusts me. And that's why I was able to effectively stop that behavior so fast. My ability, my love, with the, combined with that tool, the e-collar, made it much easier to do away with the situation that normally can lead to a dog being put down. I hope this helps. If this helps just one person or one trainer and saves one dog out there, then it's well worth it. I told my wife and kids, I'm going to make a video. I'll be less than 5 minutes. Sophia said, oh, so you'll be a half hour? I said, no, 5 minutes. And it's 20-something minutes later. So sorry it's long, but it's important. And I hope you kind of take something out of this, all right? Peace.